I've always thought that each person invented himself for whatever reasons, through whatever circumstance, through whatever he has gone through.
David Geffen. To the public, his name means music, movies, and museums. He's the billionaire puppet master who shaped entire industries, the reclusive mogul whose wealth built empires and whose art donations transformed museums into temples of culture. But peel back the polished surface and what you find isn't elegance, it's chaos. Behind the billion-dollar smile is a man accused of manipulation, exploitation, and scandal that sounds less like Hollywood glamour and more like a horror script.
My partner and I had a lot of trouble with getting a record deal for Jackson Browne and Judy Sills, so we decided we'd do it ourselves and make a go of it, and it's turned out very well.
For decades, whispers followed Geffen. Stories of his appetite for control, of young men orbiting his world only to vanish when they no longer entertained him. Hollywood insiders joked he could make or break anyone with a single phone call. He was the man too powerful to cross, the figure who could rewrite your destiny if you dared to say no. And now, in his 80s, those whispers are headlines, thanks to one man who decided to fight back. That man is Donovan Michaels, a 32-year-old former go-go dancer and model whose troubled past was no secret. He grew up bouncing through foster homes, scarred by instability and survival. When Geffen came along, it looked like a rescue, a fairy tale ending. The billionaire and the young husband, married in March 2023. But Donovan now says it wasn't a love story. It was a prison built out of wealth and fear.
That we are each a figment of our own imagination. And some people have a greater ability to imagine than others.
According to Donovan's lawsuit, Geffen didn't just love him, he designed him. He claims Geffen pushed him into cosmetic procedures to fit an image, that he was told to reshape his body and his face to satisfy the billionaire's fantasy. Donovan says drugs were introduced not for pleasure, but for control. A way to weaken resistance and blur the line between love and obedience. In his telling, he wasn't a husband. He was a project, molded and manipulated until he barely recognized himself. And the most shocking detail: Geffen, one of the sharpest sharks in Hollywood, one of the most calculating deal makers in the world, walked into this marriage without a prenup. No contract, no financial shield, no escape hatch. The man who built empires on airtight deals somehow let his personal life become a billion-dollar gamble. Now Donovan is demanding everything he says was promised: lifelong financial support, luxury housing, and the billionaire lifestyle he claims was dangled in front of him like bait. Without a prenup, this isn't just another celebrity breakup, it's a war with billions at stake. Geffen's lawyers, led by powerhouse attorney Patty Glazer, insist the entire story is fabricated. They call the lawsuit salacious lies, a calculated shakedown dressed up as victimhood. They want it dismissed immediately, but even as they push back, the damage is already done. The words sex, lies, and billionaire divorce are now permanently glued to Geffen's legacy. And this is where you need to lean in. Because while Geffen screams extortion, Donovan paints a picture that feels too twisted to ignore. Was this a marriage built on love, or was it a billionaire's cruel experiment with a human life? This is Ms.CathyKnows, and trust me, this drama is just getting started. If you want more scandals that rip the masks off the rich and powerful, like this video, subscribe right now and drop your comment. Is Donovan exposing the truth, or is this the most dangerous billionaire takedown plot we've ever seen?
I think I like music, whatever strikes me as being good is something that I want to record. I mean, I don't think that every record that we make is a hit, or that every artist that we record is going to be a star, but I think that all the music that we put out is very valid.
Buckle up, because the dark life of David Geffen is about to unravel. And what's coming next makes this divorce look like a bomb waiting to explode. The lawsuit Donovan filed isn't just legal paperwork. It's a playbook of destruction, each page dripping with allegations that hit like bullets. He paints Geffen not as a husband, but as a manipulator who preyed on his vulnerabilities. A man who took a foster child's broken past and used it to tighten the chains of control. Donovan claims he was promised the world, stability, wealth, safety, in exchange for loyalty. But what he describes sounds more like captivity. He says he was forced into cosmetic treatments, told how to look, what to wear, who to be. He accuses Geffen of surrounding him with drugs to keep him docile, creating a dependency that blurred choice with compulsion. Imagine being married to the most powerful man in Hollywood, but feeling like you couldn't even choose your own reflection in the mirror. And Donovan doesn't stop there. He says Geffen degraded him, humiliated him, treated him like a test subject. In one shocking claim, Donovan describes himself as a living experiment, a human body that Geffen shaped and controlled for pleasure and dominance. To Donovan, the billionaire didn't fall in love with him. He built him like a toy and then discarded him when the novelty wore off. These accusations aren't just salacious gossip. They cut to the heart of Geffen's carefully crafted image. For decades, he's been known as the mysterious benefactor, the billionaire who donates millions to museums, theaters, and universities. His name is carved into the walls of cultural institutions from New York to Los Angeles. But Donovan's lawsuit suggests that while Geffen was polishing his legacy in marble and gold, behind closed doors he was running a darker empire fueled by manipulation and exploitation. The media has seized on every line. Headlines scream about sex and drugs, about control and abuse. Hollywood insiders whisper, "We always knew there was something." And while Geffen's lawyers call it all fiction, they can't stop the flood. Because once these kinds of accusations hit the public, they live forever. Donovan's past also plays into the drama. A young man with scars from foster care, bouncing between survival and nightlife, suddenly whisked into a billionaire's orbit. It's a story that sounds like rescue, but feels like entrapment. The imbalance of power is so staggering, it makes every allegation, no matter how wild, feel disturbingly possible. And this is where the lawsuit gets truly explosive. Donovan insists Geffen didn't just use him emotionally, he made promises, real promises. A lifetime of support, financial security, housing. Promises that Donovan now says were broken. With no prenup to block him, those promises could become Geffen's financial nightmare. But Geffen isn't going quietly. His team is fighting tooth and nail, portraying Donovan as an opportunist chasing billions. They frame the lawsuit as extortion, a carefully staged performance designed to squeeze money out of one of the world's richest men. So which is it? A manipulative billionaire finally being dragged into the light, or a desperate young man spinning his pain into profit? The truth might be tangled in between. But one thing is clear. The world is watching, and this drama is not slowing down. If there's one detail that turns this divorce into a global scandal, it's the absence of a prenup. How does a man worth nearly $9 billion, a mogul known for cutting the sharpest deals in entertainment history, walk into marriage without legal protection? That's the billion-dollar question. And it's the mistake that could cost him more than any failed record label or bad investment ever did. Without a prenup, Donovan's claims have teeth. Every alleged promise of lifelong support, every suggestion of housing and luxury becomes a potential financial obligation. This isn't a young husband walking away with alimony. This could be a man walking away with a billionaire's fortune. And Hollywood can't believe it. Insiders whisper, Geffen always planned everything, but love made him reckless. Others call it hubris, a billionaire who thought he was untouchable, forgetting that even kings fall when they let their guard down. The divorce filings themselves are cold, but the media circus around them is on fire. Every outlet from tabloids to financial journals is dissecting the case. Is Donovan telling the truth about being molded and manipulated? Did Geffen really use drugs and control as tools of dominance? Or is this a billionaire's ex staging the most lucrative performance of his life? Geffen's side insists the latter. They call Donovan's lawsuit a fantasy, an invention, a character assassination designed for payout. But Donovan's narrative sticks because it feels like the climax of whispers that have followed Geffen for decades. The rumors about his relationships with younger men, the control, the secrecy. This isn't just a divorce, it's the public trial of David Geffen's reputation. And the timing couldn't be worse. Geffen's name is literally engraved on the new galleries of LACMA, opening in 2026. He spent years shaping his image as the reclusive philanthropist, the billionaire patron of the arts. But now, every headline about him screams sex, lies, and no prenup. The legacy he tried to carve in stone is being rewritten in scandal. The irony is brutal. For decades, Geffen controlled everything: artists, studios, deals. He played life like a chessboard, always 10 moves ahead. But in his personal life, he missed the most obvious move of all, protecting himself with a prenup. And now that one mistake might cost him not just billions, but the polished legacy he spent a lifetime building. For Donovan, this case is about survival, about reclaiming power from a man who he says stole it. For Geffen, it's about everything: his money, his image, his reputation, his empire. And for the rest of us, it's a front row seat to one of the most shocking billionaire scandals in recent memory. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about divorce. It's about how power can corrupt love, how wealth can twist control, and how even the richest man in the room can be brought to his knees by the one thing he never planned for: heartbreak. And that's the kind of story Ms. Cathy Knows lives to tell.